begin. So, good evening, everybody. This is a New Human Experience podcast, and today is December the 10th, 2020. And the topic for tonight is discreation. And I actually want to start this by telling a story. It's a relevant story, or somewhat relevant story, and it's actually a story about how I learned how to create, how way back when I learned how to do a creation and discreation. So here it goes. So I was actually it was a Huna. So that's how many years ago? Let's see. Blah blah blah. Maybe about 15 years ago, I was learning Huna. Well, in Hawaii, actually. I think part of the reason why I'm learning Huna was I get to go to Hawaii. So I went with this group of people that teaches Huna. Huna is Hawaiian shamanism. For those who are not sure what Huna is, so anyway, so I've been going for a couple of years, and this year, what happened was one of the things that we get to do is to cast spells. So we're learning how to cast spells, and casting a spell is really creation, because so it is really a spell is really um, words that paint a picture of what it is that we want. And when we cast the spell properly, then we create certain reality for ourselves to experience. So what happened is there's a group of us. I think there's maybe about 10 of us, maybe about 10 to 12 of us as a group who attended this particular class. And the responsibility of our group, there are several groups. So one of the groups, we kind of a little bit more advanced than the beginners. So our job is to create the optimal weather for our volcano hike in the next 2 days, because there is a day at the end of the whole class that we all go to the volcano in this is the big island in Hawaii. So there is a live volcano there, and we go there, and so our group is responsible for creating the optimal weather for our volcano hike. So we were taught how to do the cast, how to cast a spell, what it is that we need to do. We all gathered around after we learned everything. So we kind of figured out, okay, so what are the experiences that we want, and our instructor gave us several things, things like, oh, we want the weather to be a certain temperature, to be like not too sunny but not too cloudy, or at the very least not raining. So, and we want to see certain birds, because certain birds, if you see those birds in the volcano area, it's supposed to mean good omen. So those are our requirements. So we have a list of requirements from our instructor. And so as the group, we came together and we agreed on, what the wording is supposed to be, what it is that we want to include in this spell. We kind of, as a group, worked out each of the wording and intention, what's the mental picture, and what it is that we want. So we all kind of agreed on it as a group, and we visualize it in our minds, and we put our intention, and as a group we read out the spell in unison, and then it was done. So it took us maybe about 3 hours to get all of that. So after that, I was like, oh my gosh, that was intense. um you know just to get 12 people to agree on something is not always easy, but somehow we did it in 3 hours, so that was great. So I was exhausted from that experience, and I just, yeah, adios group. I went back into my room I crashed until I didn't really see the group until the next morning when we have class again. So when I came back into the classroom, first thing in the morning, it was like, whoa, the energy in the room was like, what the heck happened? The instructor came in and kind of gave us a talk too. So, and then I couldn't figure out what was happening until I was told that um, after we did the spell as a group, and I left the group, there are some, not all of them, but some of the other people hung around, and they were joking with things like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if all of a sudden, while we were doing the volcano walk, we have thunder coming in and just struck us down, or wouldn't that be cool to see the volcano, because the part that we are going to hike is is um is no longer an active volcano. This big volcano has different sides. The sides that we're going to hike is not the active side. So they were saying, oh, what happened if this side all of a sudden becomes active again and erupted? And they were just throwing all of these things out, and somebody heard them saying this, and they reported it to the teacher. So the teacher was just mortified, was just horrified of what we did, because what we have done is, even though we created the spell, but part of the exercise is that we have to really be very disciplined about what it is that we hold in our mind, because what we hold in our mind, even after we have casted the spell, also would add into it. So that means that right now, as of that morning, the idea that there's going to be thunder strike and volcano eruption was also part of in our spells. So that's why our teacher actually just impressed upon us how bad that was in terms of our creation, because like we I think a lot of people just they were just doing this not because they were evil or anything like that. They were just bored. They're just pulling out these ideas and they're just throwing it in the mix. However, that really um, unintentionally, it actually added to what it is that we are going to create the next day when we do the volcano walk. So that's why the instructor, when he heard wind of what happened, he actually made sure everybody in class um, really know how terrible a thing that we have done is, that we actually have created a monster of a spell that if it had come true, then it would be disastrous for the whole group. There is maybe about 70, 80 people. Like if volcano erupt, then that is going to be bad for everybody. So we actually learned a very good lesson about what creation is. Creation is not just what it is that we said we want in the moment, but it's also every moment after that as well. So discipline of mind is very important. And then the best thing is he actually taught us how to discreate, because most other class did not get to learn this, because we kind of did this. So we actually got to learn how to do this, is that the people that so which means that the whole group of people that came together to create the spell has to come together as well to discreate it. So the whole group came, and the teacher taught us how we have to go over our spell, because we wrote maybe about a page of words. So as a group, we read that spell backwards. So from the end, we read each of the words in unison back to the very first um, character, the very first word. And so going backwards really, and with the intention to discreate. So we discreated it, and then we come together again as a group to create it. And this time we know that after we create something, we have to discipline our mind to keep holding that picture in our mind until we experience it. And then the next day, of course, when we go on our volcano walk, it worked out. So we got the temperature we asked for. We saw the bird, the volcano birds. We like everything. And the teacher afterwards came back into us and gave us a thumbs up. So that was my first experience of creation and discreation. So after all that, so let me kind of backtrack and distill more about what it is that I know about um, creation and discreation. So first thing is, let's recap what creation is. So from last week, creation is simply holding the idea of an experience that you want to have in your consciousness until the idea shows up for you to experience. So that's it. That's creation. Is you have an idea, a vision of something you want, and then you have you hold it. So that means the attention. So you have that intention, which is the vision, the idea of what it is that you want, and then you give it attention. Attention meaning that is the energy. So when you give attention to something, you give your energy to it. You put your sights on it. You think about it. And if any action seems to resonate with your intention, you would take those actions. So that's really energy, and it's not just any energy. It's not just energy. It's focused energy, as what I've learned in that in the when we cast a spell, is that we have to really be disciplined, that we don't have any thoughts that is different from what it is that we want to experience. So it is intention and attention. And it's not just any attention, it's focused attention, focused until we actually see it and experience it. So that is really how creation is. So now, what is discreation then? Discreation. Um, Before I talk about discreation, I just want to also mention that we don't just live in an isolated world. That the world as we see it, as we experience it, as it is right now, experienced by each and every one of us individually, is really a result of all the people that had lived and casted their spells and have their intentions and have their attentions before us, all the way up until this moment. So that means when you discreate something, you have to really understand what it is that you have created that you don't want anymore. So understanding your own creation. Um, if I really want to break it down, is really that first thing is you have to understand that you created what it is that you're trying to discreate now. So you created whatever situation that you no longer want to experience. You are the one that created it. So you have to understand why you created that, what contributed to this creation. It means that um, everyone that have contributed to you being who you are right now, the person that has created that. So understand that yourself. Um, when you have this understanding of who you were, that created this situation that you no longer want. Once you have an understanding of that, then the next step is really to turn off your energy, is to no longer give your energy, no longer give your attention, and get to neutral of this experience. And allow this experience to be simply an experience without any energy. Energy meaning that without any idea of whether it's good or bad. So, in essence, get to neutral. So, when you understand all the inputs that came to create what it is that you're experiencing, and you're resisting that experience, and also understand why you are resisting that experience as well. When you have this understanding, then you can discreate it by getting to neutral, so that the next time something similar happened, because when you discreate something, it will invariably show up again to kind of let you really get that, okay, I'm really done with this. And when this similar situation show up, and even when it shows up, you're neutral about it. It's just an experience. It's not good, it's not bad, it just is. And when you can do that, then you can start to shift and change. And in essence, it's very simple. You understand your creation, how you created this situation that you no longer want to experience, and you get to neutral. And that's it. It is simple, but it's not easy. I have no I have no illusion that it is going to be easy, because we are actually shaped by our experiences, and each experience shape us a little bit. And it's something that is so natural, that when we experience something, we have a judgment, and we hold on to that judgment. If we don't, if we're not conscious enough, then we hold on to that judgment. And if something similar happened, then it kind of reinforces that judgment, and then reinforces that until one day we it's like we formed a crust, so that we become, even if that situation is not, the situation has changed, we still, our mind is already set. We still look at it the same way. And that's why, if we do it properly, if we really understand our creation and get to the point where we become neutral, if we do this creation properly, you will no longer be who you were. That has this, you will no longer be the person who created this experience for yourself anymore. And I think that in itself is actually even more of a more scary to us, is that the the why this creation is a little bit more tricky than actually creation. Creation is actually, we know how to create. That's who we are. But this creation really tests our consciousness, because when we do it properly, we will no longer be the person that has created that situation. We will be someone that is beyond that, someone that is actually above that, because not only do we know how to create, because when we wake up, we already know how to create. We've always been creating, but being able to discreate, one of the caveat of discreation is you have to be comfortable with the unknown. You have to be comfortable with um, not being yourself anymore, because it is when your experiences shaped who you are, and when you discreate part of your experiences, you also discreate part of yourself. And this is something that makes this creation a little bit more challenging, or I should say a little bit more exciting to explore than creation itself. So that's actually all I wanted to say about this creation, because that's all it is to understand why what led us to choose this creation, to have this creation for ourselves, and then to turn off our energy, so that when there's no longer any attention and energy to sustain this creation, it is like burning a candle. If you shut off the oxygen, the candle will go out. If not immediately, when it runs out of oxygen, it will. When you turn the energy off of your creation, a creation that you want to discreate, this creation has no choice but to discreate. And that's all that is to this creation.